No. Miss Lake, he's trying to make me on my seat. That's so funny.
Just fine, pay attention to the video. I'm scared because I'm a little weird. Okay. Alright guys, real quick, you know we've been having a lot of like, can I go to the bathroom, can I go to the bathroom? We talked at the beginning of the year about how bathrooms during class time are for emergencies only, and I doubt we're having like 18,000 emergencies during class. What we're supposed to be doing during class is learning. Can you come sit down? Thank you so much. Let's go over really quickly what's going on this week. We have the rest of lesson 2.3 today. Rocket, please. Huh? Yeah, go back. Oh, that's nice. Can you sit up and
Who's taller?
You
Really?
just like
I'm way taller, right?
uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but can I go
Yes.
without interruption? Okay. So this week we are doing, or today we're doing the second part of lesson 2.3. We started it yesterday. We have the second half to do. Well, I got through it pretty quickly. Not quickly, but we had about 5-10 minutes of the last period to do homework questions or get started on homework. So hopefully we'll get to do that today. Your homework for 2.3 is due tomorrow.
Okay.
Then tomorrow, you don't have any homework except for the practice test.
Hooray.
And this is what it looks like on Canvas for you, okay? There's a module that says, calculators are not toys. They are to be used when it's time to use them, okay? I really want to be able to get through this so I can give you guys some homework time and some homework help time today. So, on Canvas, there are 3 practice test materials. The first one is exactly what you have. It's just the digital PDF form in case you lose it. And it's not crossed out on these questions, but it does say in the title of it to cross out those numbers or to skip those numbers. That's just if you lose it or if you just want to see it on the computer. The second thing is I made a little mini 7-question practice test to help you with get familiar with those types of questions that I'm replacing these questions with. They're what I consider like the really easy questions, like the easiest questions on your homework. It's kind of like graph the line y equals 2x plus 3. And then it's like, oh, y-intercept is 3, and then the slope is up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. That's it, okay? I wanted to make sure there were plenty on there that were not so challenging and also not time consuming, because I want you guys to be able to get all this done.
God blessing you.
Yeah. So that's available to you. But when you are doing that at home, again, it's only 7 questions. It's not like a homework that will let you have a couple of tries. It acts like a test. I'm not going to grade it, but it acts like a test in the sense that once you submit your answer, it's not going to tell you your results until you submit it, the whole thing, and then it'll tell you how many you got wrong. So what I need you to do when you work on that at home is you write down all of your work so that when you come in with questions on Thursday and say, I didn't get number 2 on the digital practice test, then I can say, okay, let me start it. I'll probably get like 2 steps in and you'll go, oh, I know where I went wrong, because you'll have your notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So don't guess, don't do it in your head, you have to have your notes. That's part of your participation grade, right?
Oh, for that quiz, right?
Yeah, so there are 2 parts to the practice test. This, which has 8 questions, show all your work on a separate piece of paper.
Okay.
And the digital part that has the 7 questions. I'm not able to print those questions.
Wait,
so,
you have to do both?
yeah,
Okay.
because the test is 15 questions, so you need to practice 15 questions, okay? And you show that work on a separate piece of paper. That, I guess I need to make sure you're paying attention and not drawing, okay? So we are doing both of those. It's a total of 15 questions, and it's due on Thursday. I also already posted my answers to these 8 really hard questions, okay? The hardest questions on there, I have posted, I believe it's 11 pages of my work shown every detail of work and even little notes that say this is why we do this. This is the first step we take, and here is why. Does that help you when I do that? It's already on Canvas. So is it possible for anybody to come in on Thursday and say, I didn't do it? If there's a module on Canvas that says practice test materials, and all three of them are in that module. I don't remember what it is.
So, like, you show up all the work.
Please raise your hand. Show all of your work on both of those. I showed all of my work, so if you're having trouble with it, just do what I do. So everybody should get a 100 participation grade for completing the practice test, okay, in those two parts. Yes?
Can I get the practice test?
Sure.
On the online practice test, is that, do you have to do that?
I would like you to do it.
What would it, I'll probably do the process.
So the entire thing is 15 questions. Oh, that was not for you, sorry. Cross out 2, 6, and 11, okay? Cross out 2, 6, and 11. So there are only 8 problems to do on this, and 7 problems. You guys want to do well on this test, right? I like you asking me if the other one's optional. Do you want to do well on this test?
Yeah.
You want to do better than you did on the last test?
Good
I'm
job.
not grading this one on a curve. I made it easier, so I'm not automatically adding bonus points to this one. Okay?
Wait, that last one was a
So
little
what you
sticky.
get is what you get. I adjusted this test to make it fair, but you actually have to know what you're doing. Also. Okay?
All right.
All right, let's continue with the lesson. This marker's kind of running out. That was the worst. That was the worst.
You gotta do it backwards, Taylor.
Swish!
So, we already worked on this yesterday, but I just want to verbally go over what the steps would be for sketching a graph of an equation in standard form.
Oh, I have that right.
Yeah, you can look at your notes. We're not actually going to do it, but I want you to tell me what we would need to do. Yes, Jacob.
So you would either multiply 4x by 0 or 5y by 0 first.
Okay, so I'm going to translate for you because you're on the right track, but it's not
I know how to
quite
say it. I know
accurate.
how to say it.
You want to say it? Okay.
First, you can either find the x-intercept or the y-intercept first.
Mhm.
So we chose to do the x-intercept first.
Great. You can do either one. And when we're finding the x-intercept, what do we plug in for y?
0.
Good. When we're finding the y-intercept, Faith, what do we plug in for x? When we're finding the y-intercept, what do we plug in for x? It's okay. It just requires you to pay attention because sometimes my questions will automatically get targeted to you if I notice that you're not paying attention. Nobody. Can we not draw? I'm seeing a lot of people drawing on skin. Can we not? Can we not? And just pay attention. Great. Okay, so does anybody want to answer my question? Uriah. Yeah, you plug in 0. Very good. I don't even remember my question, but whatever intercept you're looking for, you plug in 0 for the other one. Okay? Then you solve and you graph and you connect the dots. Very good. I mean, technically we call them points, but yes, you connect the dots.
You did such a good job.
Never mind, it's answer my own question.
Okay. Love when that
I
happens.
do that all the time.
Yeah,
I just like
good.
have to visually
That's good.
like verbally do this.
That's good. Okay, this next example is kind of funny. It's got 2 parts. What we are going to discover now on your desk. Make sure you're taking notes. I know I'm not writing yet, but I am talking, so we need to totally pay attention, okay? You should have lesson 2.3 at the top, maybe 2.3 continued. Okay, so what does the graph in standard form look like when A equals 0? We've been doing a lot of like plug 0 in for x, plug 0 in for y, but what about when A, the coefficient to x, equals 0. Let's go back for a second.
1. Oh.
So what number would be A in this equation? 25. What would happen if I plugged in 0 for my A? What would happen? Yeah. What would be 0? Yeah. So 0 times x would be 0. Where would x go?
Right there.
No.
No, it's this.
It would go bye-bye.
Oh, so it's only on the x-axis.
So, yeah, sort of. Okay, so when you plug 0 in for your A, it makes x times 0 equals 0, so it goes bye-bye. So, what you're left with is whatever your numbers for B and C are, and then you can simply solve for y, right? So over here, they just kind of made up numbers here to show what it would look like. So if 0 gets multiplied times x, it goes bye-bye. And then we just divide by 2 on both sides, and we get y equals 3.
Hold on. Let me
What?
copy this all down.
Okay, hold on. So do we solve this like how we normally solve it?
We normally solve it by plugging
So
0
just do
in.
this the same thing, except you won't have the x. You won't have to solve for x.
Okay.
You solve for y. Yeah.
Yeah, because this, when you multiply the x times 0, it gets rid of it.
Oh, you're supposed to be solving for x and then x goes on, right?
We're not supposed to be solving for anything. We're just trying to graph the line.
I know.
So if x goes bye-bye and you're only left with y,
I know.
solve for y.
I know what
Do you
x
still
is.
like solve for x?
I know what
X is gone.
No, I know.
Stop trying to hold on to x. It's gone. It's
No.
never coming back,
No,
okay?
if you still have x.
You don't.
No, if you don't use the 0, if you still have x.
But this is, that's the whole point of this
It's
question.
0x.
The whole point of this question is, what happens when you sub in 0 for your A value? The point is, get it? The point is, quiet. The point is, it makes this entire term disappear to 0, and all you're left with is this equation. If you only have one variable, go ahead and solve for it. But what does this mean? Is it our y-intercept, or is it the equation of a line?
Both.
You little genius, it took my last period like 3 tries to get that.
Because I learned this last
Me. Okay. Very good.
That's so easy though.
I know, it's too easy. Let's just forget about it, okay? Let's go to some hard questions.
No.
Okay. So so 3 is your y-intercept, okay? It's where your line is going to intercept your y-axis. But it's also every value for y, no matter what x ever was. So to answer your question, x technically still exists on this line. So like over here, it would be -2, +3, right? Over here, it would be
-2,
3,
positive.
+3. Over here, it would be 4, +3. But what we're noticing is, even though x does still exist on the line, what we did when we solved is we saw that it just makes a beautiful, even, horizontal line wherever the y-intercept is.
No slope.
That, it has a slope of 0, so, yeah.
Isn't undefined where it's like this?
Yep, undefined is like this, you try to go down the slope and you crash to your death, that's what that is.
Oh, that's not.
What is that? Why do people get so offended? I don't know why.
Because you said like you fall down, you look like
You fall down, go boom boom, okay? And then you get boo boos. Okay, sorry. Okay, so crash to your death, not day spring, sorry. I didn't know. Okay, so guys, instead of naming every single possible point on this and trying to define it, you simply have the equation of the line y equals 3. That's an equation of a line, okay? So, what do you think is going to happen when b equals 0? Angelina?
Y equals 0. And then like the x.
The y will get wiped out? And what kind of line do you think it will look like? It will be, yes, it will have an x-intercept and a vertical, what is this? That's like a karate chop. A vertical line. Vertical. Okay. And you want me to show you? I can just clicky and show you right here. Shh, please allow me to be silly, but don't let it distract from the lesson by adding on to it, okay? All right, so here, they just gave you another random thing where they said, well, what if b equals 0? That goes bye-byes. It doesn't mean that y doesn't exist anymore. It just means, yeah, sure.
X equals -2, so it would,
Yeah, when you divide by 3, on both sides you get x equals -2, which is your x-intercept, and every x value, no matter what y is. Y still exists, it just, there's so many y's that we can't even describe them, so we just give the equation of the line by saying what x is, because y is literally anything.
Y is
To answer your question, like what happened to the x? Okay, you can't just let it go and never bring it back. It's just that x is so many things that I couldn't even tell you what it is.
Cannot.
Good. Big guy, never heard anybody.
Oh wait,
No, you try, no. Yeah, no.
I did it good.
That was great. Can we get back to this?
Yes.
Everybody do this. Now here's the problem. In my last class, they got an answer for this and they got an answer for this, and then they wrote it as a coordinate pair. Can we not do that? Because these are two totally separate questions, and you need to get two different equations of your line. Basically what happened to this, the a was 0, it canceled out the x, and now we're just left with this. So solve for
8.
solve for
y.
solve for y. Thank you. For this, you're solving for
Y.
x.
Who said y?
Oh, it doesn't matter. You said it.
Oh,
You're
no.
supposed to quietly be working on this. I'd like you to solve for it. Then I'd like you to sketch the graph of those lines.
Sketch it. We're gonna like
Draw them.
later. I know, but like, it's comparable later.
Okay. What does y equal for a?
6.
What?
-6.
-6. So to graph that, where do we go first?
Down there.
Where?
Down there.
Where?
Like on the vertical line down there.
Can we name what that vertical line is called?
Okay. On the y-axis.
Thank you.
Down on the bottom side. So on the
Where?
negative side. Negative side.
Where? Anywhere?
No, right there.
Here? Or here? Or should I go down here?
In the middle one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How about that?
Won't do it.
So you can say go to -6
Yeah.
on your y-axis.
Well,
Because
there was the-
if y, well, you could say make one. Okay? You tell me what to do. It's fine. Just kidding. Don't ever do that. You're getting in trouble. Okay. So if y equals -6, that means here's our y-intercept. What does that mean for our line?
That's right there. It's on.
Yeah, it's parallel with the x-axis, and this line is called
Good job.
y equals 6. So, what if we wanted to sketch b? What does x equal?
3.
Good. Where do we put that?
3.
Where?
On the x-axis.
Good, thank you.
So it would 1, 2, 3, boom, do it. And then after that it goes vertical.
Yep.
So
straight on or down the y.
Because every x value will be 3, every y value will be everything.
Boom, do it. Does this work? Because that is so
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay if you put them on the same graph. But when I was checking my last class, they did this. And I was like, what are you doing trying to make a coordinate pair out of these things?
No, that's not how
They're
that
two
works.
totally separate lines. Yeah,
You write
Miss,
the
like-
steps on the board, like what you
Sure.
did.
Miss, like you messed up something. In the 6, you didn't put a negative.
got it.
Yeah, can you see that?
Okay. Are you finding something else?
You didn't put a 3 flat line.
Nah, that one was obvious. I did that on purpose. Okay, so the steps, I'm gonna write down the steps for somebody who takes really good notes, and she's gonna get a candy for just asking me for that. You guys okay?
They're never okay.
Okay, shh. Focus please, focus, focus. All right, so the steps for this, for A, step 1 would be to solve for y.
Okay.
Do you want me to explain? And then for that, it would just be like divide by 3 on both. Like solve for y, you know what that means,
Yeah.
right? Okay, solve for y, you're going to get y equals something. And then whatever y equals, that is your y-intercept and the graph of the line. Put that away, it's just too noisy, okay? Now I'll explain what I mean by that. So what we did over here was, when we solved for y and we got y equals -6, that is our y-intercept. It's where the line intercepts the y-axis. But to figure out which direction it goes, the line saying y equals 6 means, okay, so I'll say that means, and graph the line, that means that every value for y will be that number, causing a horizontal line.
We have to write that.
Only if you want to. Some people are asking for specific steps.
Oh.
Now, for B, it's the exact same thing except just replace every y with an x. So you would solve for x, whatever x equals, that is your x-intercept and the graph of the line. That means that every value for x will be that number, causing a vertical line. So for x, vertical line. All right, I'm gonna go. What?
Okay.
That's a 2 line. Thank you.
Why did the old girl?
Is that the name Tamara?
Tamira, maybe?
Tamara. We just call her Tim.
Where's the N?
Tamira.
Can you just call it Tim? Hi, Tim.
It's a
Call her Tammy. Everybody calm down. Am I blocking? Am I still blocked? You're good? Okay. Okay. Tamira is making trail mix. She has $40 to spend. What does 40 represent? Her budget. What was that word? Don't shout it out. Raise your hand. Yes. No.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, but
What? Budget.
no.
Just
Limitation.
the maximum amount.
You guys are all correct, but it had a very special word.
What is limitation?
C.
Correct.
Counterpart.
Vincent.
Cost.
Oh, wait. Containment?
No,
it's written down.
going,
Monkey's
getting
different.
so close.
It starts with a conceptual.
No.
Wait, no.
Correct.
It's like
Condemnation.
constraint.
Constraint.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah, that is, whoops.
Miss like made him drop it. That was not
I,
good.
it's fine. May I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So $40 is our constraint, which we also know is the total for total budget. So here's our total, our constraint. She wants to spend $40 on a mixture of almonds and cashews. She wants to buy about the same amount of almonds as cashews.
Okay.
About the same. She doesn't have to buy exactly the same amount. About the same. How can she determine how many pounds of each kind of nut to buy? This is where standard form is very helpful. Because Jack, wake up!
Wake up.
Excuse me. You said that is my job, not
Sorry.
yours. Okay. So, just like we set up, remember yesterday when we had this thing? And we did, remember this was wrong, but the 150 was our constraint, and then the $25 times however many tickets, and then the $10 times however many of the general admission tickets. We're doing the same thing over here because we have another standard equation. So we have almonds and cashews, and whatever money she spends on the almonds and the cashews together has to be 40, right? Because that's how much she wants to spend, that's her constraint.
Yeah.
So, what does 8 represent?
A pound of almonds.
Nope, well, the
cost that she
cost
bought.
of a price of almonds. So 8 is the cost. What does X represent?
The amount of pounds.
Yes, the number of pounds. What does 10 represent?
The cost of the cashew.
Cost of the cashews. What does Y
The
represent?
amount of pounds of the cashew.
The number of pounds. Very good.
Do it.
Yeah, you're doing great. Okay, so we have an equation in standard form. It's 8x plus 10y equals 40. So just out of curiosity, if she buys 1 pound of cashews, how much is it gonna cost?
$8.
8 or
Oh, $10.
10. If she buys 2 pounds of cashews,
$40.
okay. If she buys 3
$30.
pounds, if she buys 18 pounds, no, just kidding. If she buys 4 pounds of
40.
cashews, huh?
The pattern.
Very good.
Circle triangle.
$40 on those cashews, huh? I wonder what that means for the rest of, yes, babe. So what does that mean in terms of, nobody else answer except for Faith.
Okay.
What does that mean in terms of how many almonds she can buy?
Or no, oops, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You're getting there.
How many almonds you can buy?
Yeah, if she decides to buy 4 pounds of cashews, how many almonds can she buy? None. Very
Good
good.
job. Catch it.
We just found an intercept.
Whoa.
Okay? Because if she buys 4 pounds, that means X has to be 0, so the y-intercept is 4. Very good. What's the x-intercept? 5.
Where did it
What?
How did you get that? Where did you
Well, we were just kind of doing that mentally, but I'll show you how to do it mathematically.
Okay.
Okay? We did it mentally because guys, we're just doing it logically. But I will show you how to do it mathematically also, because that's what we do, okay? But I was saying, well, okay, these are kind of easy numbers, right? We could just be like, oh, it's not decimals or fractions. I could be like, well, she buys 4 pounds, she's gonna spend $40. That's the total constraint. Yeah, so if she buys all those cashews, she ain't buying any almonds, right? So that's our y-intercept. Because if our almonds, the number of almonds is 0, if you plug in 0 for x, and you get y equals 4, That's your y-intercept. Same thing over here. We say, okay, well, how many pounds of almonds does she have to spend to make it so that she can't buy any cashews?
Oh, wait. Hold on.
We said it before.
5.
5. Very good.
Good.
And if you look at it mathematically, that's what our x and y intercepts mean. Okay? So to find your x-intercept, how many almonds she could buy, if she buys 0 cashews, that wipes out and you get x equals 5. Divide by 8, divide by 8. If she decides to buy 0 almonds, she can get 4 pounds of cashews. That's the y-intercept. Now, let's look and see what that looks like on a graph. Yeah?
So, it said like, she said she wants to buy the same amount of almonds as cashews.
About the same amount.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, can't we buy 2 pounds of each, because then it would be 16 and 20, and after you bring that together, you have 36, and that's about 40,000.
That's using really good logic, and we will see that along our equation line, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, use our x and y intercepts, and we're actually gonna graph it, okay? So hold up, I'm gonna make a graph. Which quadrant do I need for my graph? All 4?
No.
Do we need all 4 quadrants?
Nope.
Which quadrant do I need?
X and Y.
That's just.
Yeah, just one. I need my positive quadrant, one, right? Why?
They're both positive.
Yeah, because we're dealing with pounds of nuts. She's not gonna buy, I'll take negative 5 pounds of cashews, please. And then the cashier would be like, are you gonna give me cashews?
Are you gonna
Okay.
give me
Yeah, we don't need negative numbers, so we can keep it just this beautiful little L-shaped graph with our first quadrant, positive. Jack, wake up, dude. Wake up. We're gonna do it again. You're gonna get some sort of fun little consequence that I'll think of when I get to that point. So
I will do it.
okay, thank you. Okay, so if we always want to keep our horizontal axis, our x, and our vertical axis, our y, right? Even if we're only using one quadrant. So, what nut should be on my x-axis?
Cashew.
Why do you think?
Because, no, never mind. Almonds because it's X.
Good. Should it be the price of almonds or the number of pounds?
The number of pounds.
Good. Pounds of almonds.
And then the price of cashew.
The price?
Pound.
Pounds of cashew.
Pounds of cashews. Pounds of cashews. Okay. Now, we already have our intercepts. So my x-intercept is 5, so I'll just do this freehand and see how we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my x-intercept. My y-intercept is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 is my x-intercept. 4 is my y. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Can I connect these dots and make a line?
Yes.
Good. Now I've got a Jolly Rancher question. What does every single point on this line represent? Every single point on this line. Lily.
I was gonna say pounds.
Okay. Angelina. What?
I forgot what it is.
Okay. Brianna.
Dollars? Or
No.
cents?
No. Lex.
The price.
No.
The numbers.
Every point on this line
Yes, nut.
represents Jacob.
Like the difference between the pounds.
Oh, I think I know what you're getting at. Yeah, like what do you mean by difference?
Like the more, so the more it goes down, the more pounds of almonds you get.
Yes!
What?
Yes! I just love the way you explained that. Hooray! Very good. Okay, guys, this is so good. not only did he recognize that every tiny little point on this line represents a balance, some sort of balance of cashews and almonds, but he also noticed that the closer you get to your x-intercept, the more pounds of almonds you're getting. So the points that are closer to here is a balance of many more almonds than cashews, right? The closer your points are to here would be many more pounds of cashews than almonds. Do you guys understand? That was really, really good. Are we getting this? Okay, so wouldn't you say that if you want about the same amount, you would want something, I don't know, about halfway, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
2.5 and 2.5.
It looks like about that. How can we be sure? What if I say, okay, let's go ahead and say I'm gonna plot a 2.5 right here. What is that, my x or my y?
That's your x.
Good. So if I say 2.5 of my almonds,
And then after
Right.
that, 2.5.
and then I want my cashews over here, I can't, and this is a terrible drawing, so I can't just look. It could be 2, it could be 2.1, it could be 2.5, or it could even be like 1.9 just because my drawing is really bad, and I didn't do this with a ruler. So mathematically, what could I do to solve for how many cashews that would be? Carmine?
How much that would cost, and then.
But how would I solve for it? Angelina?
You can insert 2.5 into a slope intercept, like one equation.
Oh,
Or
we
no,
don't.
like into standard.
Yeah, into our standard form, right? If my almonds are my x, is my x-axis, my x value, then can't I just pop in 2.5 and then solve for y to see what my y value would be? Because we did say that this would be about the middle, right? It says about, so we're just kind of guessing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. What's 8 times 2.5? Spoiler alert, it's 20. Plus 10y equals 40. What do we do?
Wait, you wrote down 40.
Whoops!
Yeah, it's,
Who said that?
it's 28, yeah, I did. And also the book says compute, not is it supposed to say
Compute.
two
Yes,
plus?
compute.
I thought it was supposed to say computer.
No, compute is to do the math. Okay? It's a verb. Shh. Okay, so what do we do next?
Minus 20.
Vincent, yeah, minus 20 on both sides. Vincent, what do we do after that? Sure.
So this is we have to divide 10 from here, like the y, and then that's the y equals 2.
Good, y equals 2. Okay, so we found out that if she wants to buy 2.5 pounds of almonds, she can only buy 2 pounds of cashews.
With a
Nerd. Could you imagine doing all this work before going to the store?
In the grocery store.
Like in the grocery store, you're like get out your little calculator, and you're like, Mrs. Like taught me that this is how I find out how many nuts I need to get for my trailing. Okay. All right. Now what if she's like, oh no, I don't want more almonds and cashews. I like cashews better. I want kind of the same amount, but I want more cashews. What should she do? Carmine.
Just switch them.
Just switch them. Say, hey, let's do 2.5 pounds of cashews. Okay, so this would be 2.5 pounds of cashews. How would she solve for how many almonds she would get?
Right?
Yeah, she will. She won't have it. Won't switch perfectly because they're different prices. Yes.
I thought it was another one I got wrong.
Okay, so if she says, no, I want more cashews than that, is she gonna still be able to get 2.5 pounds of almonds?
Yes.
No,
No,
she's
she's
gonna
gonna
need more money.
She's gonna get 2. No.
No, not necessarily, yeah. So she gets back out her paper to calculate at the grocery store and she's like, okay, hold up, now I wanna do this. I wanna plug something in for my y instead and then solve for x. So she's like, but what if I want 2.5 pounds of cashews? Okay, so she's got 8x plus 225 equals 40. minus 25. Are you guys paying attention? Why am I doing this by myself? 8x equals
40. Or no. 15.
15
And then
divided
after
by
that,
8.
you get a
Divided
number.
by 8. What's 15
It's a
divided by 8?
fraction,
Fraction, what is it?
Oh, hold on.
8 and
1.875. 1.875.
1.875?
Can it
Is
be a
that right?
fraction?
Yeah, 1.875.
Okay, hold on, I gotta
Can
check.
it be a
I
fraction?
Oh, okay. So 1.875, so we'll just do 1.88. Okay, so she can get 1.88 or 1.9 pounds, almost 2 pounds. You guys were right though, it's almost 2 pounds when you switch them, but they're different prices, so it does affect that. Okay. You guys ready for the last thing? It's try it.
Bring out a piece of candy if I get it right.
Maybe.
Oh, okay, I'll try it.
Okay. I do have a candy question at the end, so pay attention. Okay?
How much?
Oh, never mind.
How much is
We're
on?
almost done. I'll be finished with this, and then you'll have candy.
Present.
How does the equation change if she now has $60 to spend? She was like, dang, that trail mix was so good. We all ate it at the party. Now she wants more. She's like, I'm gonna get more nuts. I'm gonna get $60 worth of nuts. Okay? So now she's got $60 and she brings her little calculator and she brings her pad and she brings it to the grocery store and everybody's like, oh my gosh, she's back. And now she's got $60 to spend. What is gonna change about that equation?
Money.
The
amount.
Vincent, sorry, he's been raising his hand tonight. Vincent,
In the problem, instead of having 40, they're gonna have 60, which changes the outcome of y, which is gonna be 3.
I don't know about that, but I like that answer. He's basically saying all that's gonna change is the constraint. Okay, so we still have 8x plus 10y.
You put 8Y.
That's supposed to be an
Everyone's got making so many mistakes. So guys, the prices of the nuts did not change. But that wasn't my question. So this is what changes. Now, I have, how many nuts can grab? Okay, so they're asking for like the y-intercept and x-intercept. We already know that. I've got a better question for you. All right, what should we do? And this is really, really tricky. So think, why are you raising your hand?
I thought that was because when you said that.
I didn't ask a question. It's gonna blow your mind when I ask it. How could I set up an equation? Now it's gonna look very similar to this, but how can I set up an equation if she says, this time I wanna buy the exact same number of pounds of almonds as I do cashews? The exact same. How could she set up the equation?
You do the equation, then subtract the 10y and then
I've got two variables there. Yes?
Couldn't you like put one of them on the other side? Like
I'll give you a hint. Something's got to change about this equation. Why is there talking just because the phone's ringing? I know this one's not. Sure.
Puts down the phone very
Oh,
She walks
So, guys, I'll say it again. Something about this is going to change. What does x represent?
The amount.
Okay, what does y represent?
The amount.
cashews.
Okay, the amount of pounds of almonds, the amount of pounds of cashews. What?
the amount of money that she spent. The price of the almonds and the cashews.
No, the price stays the same, yeah.
The amount of
Okay, so the question was, how can I kind of rewrite this equation? It's not a big change, it's just adjusting it so that we can get the exact same amount.
Well, you would have to like divide 60 by each.
Kind of. I'm telling you, the equation has to be a little bit different.
10x
Yes, Angelina.
You put 8x plus 10y over 6.
Over 6. No. Yeah.
You get rid of the x and then you do the y and the 60. If you get rid of the 8x by dividing it on both sides, and then you
No.
8x plus y equals 15.
No.
8y plus 10y equals 60.
What did you just say?
8y plus 10y equals 60.
Advanced.
Okay, now does it matter that he chose y and y? Nah, we could choose x and x. I actually, when I did it, I chose z because I didn't want to keep, but what did he do? He made the variables the same. Because we want the same number of pounds for each one. So I just rewrote it to, change it to the same variable. Right? Now we can combine them, very good. We get 18z equals 60. Divide by 18 on both sides. And how many pounds, rounded to the nearest tenth of a pound, how many pounds each?
3.3 with a.
3.3, very good. So I know this technically isn't no longer in like standard form, but I mean it is, but it isn't. It's just I'm taking my variables and I'm saying, well, instead of getting different amounts, I'm getting the exact same amount. Yeah.
Put the line over that.
Yeah, I said round to the nearest 10, so that's why I have it like that. Okay, we are actually done, and we're kind of done. So if you guys could pack up, clean up. I see papers and little things on the floor. Pack up, clean up, and stack things. Can you turn that off?